Good evening, everyone. Welcome to TeachConnect. Today we have an educational specialist with us, Mrs. Jaishree Rao, Principal and Academic Advisor of Vasavi Public Schools. As a 30 plus years of experience into the educational field, she has been experienced multiple phases into the educational field. She is a MSc B.Ed professional and also served as a Assistant Commissioner into the Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti. As she is basically a government servant, later on she resigned from that position and with the aim of serving into the private sector to improve the teachers and the organizations, she have moved into the private sector. In her service, she has undergone many trainings and workshops. She has moved to Moscow for 4 years from Navodaya Vidyalaya, and later on she has moved to India, and there in India she has been visited various schools throughout the India as a principal and with many designations. So let's have a talk with her to know few more interesting topics about her. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. It's nice to be connected with TeachConnect.
Thank you,
ma'am. Doing wonderful work.
Thank you, ma'am, and we are very happy to have you here today connecting with TeachConnect. And as a government professional, so you have been into the private sector with the aim of with a particular aim. So what might be the reason behind it? Like most of them are interested toward the government sector, whatever the reason may be. So mostly everybody is fascinated towards it. Even in this current generation, everybody are struggling back of it to have a government, because that might be a comfort, that job might be a bit comfortable or whatever the reason may be. But in that earlier years only you are with a very good designation, and later on you have resigned. So what might be the reason behind it?
Yeah, I could be you can call me, I'm an odd one. Like I started my career with Kendriya Vidyalaya as a postgraduate teacher in biology. And then I worked abroad in Moscow for 4 years. And on my repatriation, I came back to India. And when I was in Kendriya Vidyalaya also, I was in many schools. And as a teacher, I was doing pretty well with the students. And then in the school also, there was a lot of learning happening. Later, I moved on to Navodaya Vidyalaya, which is sister concern of Kendriya Vidyalaya, coming under the Ministry of Education. And Navodaya Vidyalaya primarily deals with rural children. 70% of the students come from the rural background. 30% are from the urban background. And then they have the different types of reservations for boys, girls, and caste and all that. And later, I had applied for an assistant commissioner's post, wrote the exam, cleared it, and then was selected and posted at Patna. This is in Bihar. And when I was working over there, I was traveling from school to school, but then suddenly I felt, because the profession of teaching was not by choice, but it was chosen by me. So it just didn't happen. I wanted to be a teacher. So all along, I wanted to be a teacher. When people used to ask me in my college days, what would you like to be? I said, yes, I would like to teach. So this was my passion. And it was with the same passion, I think. I said, okay, I've had enough of being in the government sector. Now let me move to the private schools. I always felt that the private schools are much fancier. So then I moved, and primarily another reason being I wanted to be in the city. So when I was in Kendriya Vidyalaya, I was only in the cities, and Navodaya had taken me to the rural India. I'm really thankful for that, because I got to see the rural India, the children, interacting with them, what it is like. I had seen only one side of the coin, but when I joined Navodaya, I saw the other side of the coin. So after I've seen both sides of the coin, I said, now it's time. I want to be in my hometown, which happens to be Hyderabad. So that is when I resigned, and I settled down in my hometown and started working in private schools. So when I was working in private schools, that is when I felt I should be upskilling myself. So I started doing a lot of courses where I started upskilling myself. And today, after my superannuation, I'm still working with Vasavi Public School as a principal in charge and an academic advisor. So that's a little about me. So you said why I had, because my passion is to be with children, So when I was an assistant commissioner, being with children was would happen only when I visited the schools, and then the rapport would not be that close. So I said that was one of the reason, and I came back to the city and started associating with private schools and worked in several private schools. So that's a little about me.
That's great, ma'am. And here we have one question over here. We just want to convey something from TeachConnect. So you have been experienced with Navodaya schools as undertaken by government. So like that will be mainly dealt with rural children, rural areas and all. So like children over there, usually they're bold enough for all the activities. They're quite different from the children who are born and brought up in the cities. So actually they're quite bold and very straightforward. They have vast knowledge. So what kind of educational strategies or how you will train their brains in this modern world to cope up with this modern world, or to cope up with these children who are born and brought up in the cities? Even for the higher education, at least they have to move from there to here. So how you will train their brains over there? What are the strategies?
Oh, that's right. Children are children wherever they are. And given the right platform and the opportunities, they would definitely blossom. And so with the Navodayas, and they have unlimited scope to develop. The government provides so many opportunities to these children. I don't know, even this Pariksha Pe Charcha, when Modi ji recently, when he was interacting, and then we could see only the Navodaya students and the Kendriya Vidyalaya students and other tribal welfare schools where these children were interacting with the Prime Minister. So that type of facilities, many of the private schools lack. So all facilities which the private managements will have to pool in funds to make it happen. In these schools, the government of India makes efforts. So these children are bright. The only drawback is, since they come from a rural background, the language is a problem for them. English communication skills is a problem. That too, it is in the initial years. So they join in class 6. And from class 6, 1 year, the medium of instruction is bilingual. It is done in the mother tongue as well as English. And then within 3 months, these children are capable of coping with English, and they do extremely well. Though these children come from a rural background, they do extremely well. Like you said, they are very well, very talented. You've got great artists are there, sports persons you can see. And when I was with Navodaya Vidyalaya Khammam, we had this youth parliament. The concept is there, where I had trained my children, and these children were selected all India, and they were taken to Delhi, where they had received the All India Prize for Youth Parliament. Subsequently, the next year also, again, like every school is given a chance 2 times to participate in the youth parliament, and the next time also when they did extremely well. So there were many things that I had prepared the children, and they had done well. So when I joined and I was with these students, my primary focus was to improve their communication skills. And they were all lovely children. Passionate about whatever they did. Of course, everywhere it is there. Children are children. But since these facilities were there for them, it is the responsibility of the principal and the teachers to ensure that the students make maximum use of it, to guide them. So the only drawback what these students have is language. And that is taken care of in the first year itself. And these children are gradually moved towards English. So they come from mother tongue, they've been regional language, and then they move in.
The responsibility
this
of
is
teacher is
deep,
yes.
deep in the rural areas, but then you have some Navodaya Vidyalayas which are closer to the cities, like where you have a Navodaya Vidyalaya in Gachibowli. It is more in the urban area, though it is Rangareddy, it is more in the urban area. So now the divide has become very narrow. There's nothing like rural or the cities, they are almost merging, and children are getting great opportunities.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And the responsibility of the teacher is also very high over here to train the students over there.
Very, very, you can't imagine. You have to work
Yes.
in the Navodaya Vidyalaya to understand what it is like. You're
Yes,
24/7, you have to be with the children.
yes, because the children also at the same time, they have to adapt to that environment, they have to adapt to the teacher. That is a different culture for them actually. So it's initially, it might be a quite hectic as well.
Yeah, it's like you have your residential schools, how you find, even those are the residential schools. So once they come in, they get used to it. They join the residential school or Navodaya, they come in after finishing class 5, and for class 6, they join. So they're pretty old enough and they can cope with the residential environment.
Yes, that was great. And how can we make a robust lesson plan in order to train the students?
Yeah, when you come to a lesson plan, we have something called as the learning outcomes. So if the learning outcomes are clear, if a teacher knows why the teacher is teaching a particular lesson, what is my role in this class and why am I teaching this lesson? So if that is clear, why am I teaching is your learning outcomes. At the end of this lesson, this is what I need to achieve. So if I need to achieve this, what type of strategies and the teaching learning material I will be requiring to ensure that my learning outcomes are obtained or derived. So for that, the teacher has her learning objectives, then they have to focus on the learning outcome. We start from the backward. So the learning outcomes are towards the end. So you start from the learning outcomes. Once the learning outcomes are clear, that is where the teacher plans her teaching strategies and the teaching learning materials. So we have a heterogeneous class. All students in the class do not understand in the same way. So the differentiated teaching needs to be done by the teacher. And I don't know whether you've heard of this or not, you have 4 different types of learners. You have visual learners, you have auditory learners, you have kinesthetic learners, and then you have the read and write learners. So you have to cater to all types of learners. So your lesson plan should reflect methodologies that can reach out to all these types of learners.
That's great.
So that is the robust lesson plan, which a teacher needs to plan. Keeping the learning outcomes in mind, then we move backward.
Yeah, and lesson plan. So most of the schools have been not aware of this, what lesson plan is. Like teachers are like, this is a modern kind of education which has been implemented. Earlier in our stage when we were learning, there were no lesson plans and nothing like that. So now it was. So most of these teachers are also unaware of this, what lesson plan is. What exactly this lesson plans include? So how it would help the students? What is the structure of this lesson plan? What does it include actually?
I'll take a very simple example, Sindhuja. Were you a teacher? Did you teach any time?
No, I'm a student always and now as well.
Okay. It's like, if I'm inviting somebody to my home and I've invited them for lunch or dinner. If I'm inviting somebody and this somebody, there are 2 people or 4 people. So if you were the person who's hosting a lunch, what all will you think?
I'll just prepare all the things initially.
Will you prepare whatever you like?
No, whatever the guest likes, I'll just prepare it.
Yes. So you will be checking out, whatever. Even when a person comes to your house and you offer a glass of water, you will ask, do you need normal water or do you need cold water?
Yes.
When you are offering them tea, you ask them how many spoons of sugar you will take.
Yes.
Do you want 1 or you want 2 spoons? Or you'll just bring the sugar pot over there and you'll keep it and you'll ask. Or you will ask the person, would you like a cup of tea or a coffee? Right?
Yes.
So you are asking them and doing it. You are feeling the pulse of the person, because who has to be satisfied? It is not you. The other person, through their satisfaction, you get satisfied. Similarly, over here, the lesson plan is for the children. If I do not have a plan, when we come back to your menu, what you are preparing to your 4 guests. Okay, I'm going to have puri. I'm sure the puri, no, I'll have a puri because this person is young, might like puri. The other person might want rotis. I will be thinking I will not make it too spicy because the person does not like spice. So all these we keep thinking and a plan is made.
Yes.
And then at what time will you start your cooking? Okay, these are the 4 dishes which I need to prepare, and how much time I need, what are the ingredients I require. All this you do the plan.
Yes, planning and preparation.
Yes, even a lesson plan is like that.
Okay.
Without a plan, everything goes flop. So for everything in our life, we have a plan. You wanted to have a Zoom call today, so I had to take off a little early from my school. I said, yes, I need to leave my school at this time so that I reach home and then I'm fresh and I'm able to interact with TeachConnect.
Yes.
So we need a plan for everything. So without a plan, nothing works. No plan, no result. So plan, if you want result, then you need to plan. So plan is always result oriented. If that does not work, I have to revisit my plan and then relook it and try to tweak it a little. And if I'm teaching something and a student does not understand, okay, these 2 students did not understand, that means my plan did not work for these children. What must have gone wrong? Then the next one, I will change it. So I will be doing a replan over there.
Yes. So this was actually a short and crisp example. So crystal clear, actually, it will be clearly understood by everyone who are not aware of the lesson and what all about is. Yeah. And you have been worked in Moscow about 4 years. So what was the education, like how was the education differs from here to there? Like what kind of education?
Yeah, their curriculum was different and it was more experiential over there. So I used to go visit schools to see how they were teaching and all, because I always wanted to know what was happening. And being in Moscow, I had this chance to know what was actually happening in their classrooms. I visited the schools to see. So they have these schools and the students move from class to class and their classrooms are really huge. So the teacher stays there and the students move to the classroom, and between every period they have 5 minutes gap so that the students can move in. And it is more of experiential and inquiry method. So I was observing one science class this was high school, I think, where the teacher had played a video and was showing them about the global warming. I think the topic must have been a forest or something. And then before showing them the video, she said, after you see this video, after half an hour, these are the questions you need to answer. So the students know what they have to do. The teacher gave them the work and then she allowed them to watch. So that was more where she was making the student responsible and accountable for their learning. So which is gradually happening even in India also. The same thing is now happening where we are talking about inquiry-based learning, where you are gradually trying to probe the child to think. So gone are the days where we give them the class notes and everybody should have uniform notes. And then when they write an exam also, what I have given in the class notes, that answer only has to come in. Is this missing? Then I will cut half mark. Giving notes, the student is not benefiting, the teacher is benefiting. Why? Because the correction becomes easy for the teacher. 30 students having 30 similar answers, after correcting 5, automatically I will know where to put the tick. But if I allow the children to write, I will get 30 different answers. So for every book, I have to pay attention. So this is where, we have, it's not, I will not blame the teachers or anything, but this was there in our system. Nobody, in none of the principals must have told that, yes, this is the way it has to be done or anything like that. So it continued.
Yes.
And always we are waiting, are you going to dictate the notes? I will start writing. So we are so much used to people dictating notes to us.
Yes, even we are habituated to that.
Yes, and when you go to colleges, you still keep waiting. Who's going to dictate the notes? I don't know where to look for the notes. I don't know how to do a research. So
Yes.
their new education pattern is now totally different, which is changing everything.
Yeah, this also helps the students to open up actually their ideas and what all they're thinking about that particular topics. They open up actually. Children are having vast brains and knowledge actually. Their way of thinking is quite different from us because they're up to the level. They don't have any limitations for their thoughts actually. So they go beyond the concept.
Yes.
Yeah.
We as adults are the ones who always put the speed breakers. Yes. And we say, why are you doing this? Because they're not thinking like that, like us, and we can't accept their thoughts or their thought process. So we think they are stupid. And yes. They in turn think that we are so stubborn and stiff that we don't allow them to do what they want to do. So given a chance, everybody will be able to do.
Yeah, this happens in most of the houses as well. Children want to do something, parents stop over there. That is a problem actually. They don't come out of it. Yeah.
You just tell the child, okay, we are going out for a party. Now the child has something what the child wants to wear, but the parent wants to show off. So they will keep their dress ready. Children will accept till they are 7 years, 8 years. After that, they become independent.
Yes.
And we have to respect their independence and we have to respect their choice.
Yeah.
And when they want to do it the way they want to do when they grow up 12, 13 years, and then you say, you don't listen to me. Who spoiled them?
Yeah.
After 8 years, you always keep telling the children, you don't know this much. You can't do it on your own. Go do it. And at 14, 15, when they start doing, you again say, you didn't ask me. So the child is totally confused over there. So it's the parents who don't know how to deal with children.
Yeah, stage by stage, they are stopped by something or the other. That is a problem actually. Yeah.
Actually, we as adults don't know how to deal with children.
That's really actually. And what measures? Yes, ma'am. And what measures should be taken in order to improve reading for comprehending at schools?
Yeah, when you are going into reading, CBSE has come out with this reading mission or reading in 100 days and all, and they've given beautiful tips how it has to be done. So you have different types of reading. Reading, initially it is just a scan. You just scan through everything. Then you have skimming, you skim everything. And then you see what are the points that catch your attention. After that, the student has to underline, okay, this is something different. I think I should be underlining this. So we look into the speed reading, we look in, and after they are able to read, don't come to comprehension so fast. First, let them read for the joy of it. Immediately, if you say, now these are the questions that are going to come and all, and the child does not know how to read, the child does not enjoy a story or does not enjoy a passage, and then you say, now I'm going to ask you questions. So this is not a stepwise process at all. So first introduce them to reading and let them read and ask them what questions. Even that what you can do is you have to train them towards observation skills. Show them some videos, let them watch the video, stop the video after 5 minutes and you ask, how many rabbits were there? This is for the lower classes. This is what I used to train my teachers. I said, how many rabbits were there or how many animals were there? Which rabbit did you like? What dresses did you find? What colors did you find? So all these questions need to be asked where you are training them for observation. So the child knows, okay, so the training happens at that point.
Yeah.
So after that, they'll be able to comprehend. So first they have to develop a love for reading. The moment they develop a love for reading, and then they are able to, because now reading is a receptive skill. When you take LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, from that, if you just take listening and reading, I'm doing it only for these are receptive, I'm receiving them. Writing and speaking for the others. And writing always comes towards the end. We learn a language by listening. So you make your child to listen more and more. They develop a love for it. Then you train them to speak. After they start speaking, you ask them questions. Then you come to the comprehension or the serious matter. So it's not fun to immediately, you can't make them, okay, I'm giving you a comprehension passage when the child does not even know how to read and understand. So it's a gradual process.
Yes. And one more thing, like usually when a teacher starts a lesson, like directly entering into the lesson, okay, first you have to read this and go on reading this passage, this passage, this passage. So initially when we are introducing a lesson to a child, so what are the strategies? Do we need to introduce something about them, like what concept oriented? Just mean to speak, like if at all, if they are speaking about plants and animals lesson. So initially a day before, do they have to give any short picture of what all the environment is about, or how they have to go into the lesson? Like, do we have any tips over there?
Yeah, it's always move from the known to the unknown. If the teacher is going to teach them something and does not want to tell the topic, and say, for example, I'm talking about the lower classes, or you're talking about plants. Tomorrow we will be learning about plants which are very important. So why don't you carry some leaves to the class? If I'm doing shapes of leaf. This time I did it almost 30 years back. I used to do this. So when it is leaves, I wanted to teach them shapes of leaves. I said, shapes of leaves, pick up whatever leaf you want. Bring some leaves to the class. We will study how leaves look like. And every student used to come with those leaves. So then every child used to sit. I said, okay, now start tracing the leaf. So when it is not that they are learning, indirectly they are learning. The teacher is achieving his or her goal. The child is indirectly learning, because now what you want the child to trace. So the moment they trace, they know how to draw it. Then they have that narrow stalk which is coming. Okay, this is a petiole. It sticks to the stem. Then you have the leaf margin. You can move from there. So you are moving from the known to the unknown. So in the class also, this is how the teacher needs to do it. Tell them, write the objectives on the board. At the end of the class, or this is what you will come to know. So that way the child will be able to do it. So never should a new lesson be a surprise to the student.
Yes. So with this strategy also, children without the intervention of a teacher, children will learn half of the lesson by themselves only. They'll just research something. Yes, that will fix in their minds, because they has been researched from there and got the lesson into the class. So that is quite interesting for them as well.
Yes. We only think that children are dumb, but the biggest part, the children know everything, but they don't know the terminologies. That's it. Yes. So first talk in the language what they understand, and then you take them to the scientific terms.
Yes. And out of 250 million school going students in India, only like 60% of the students are able to access Wi-Fi. So how would we decrease the barriers between digital literacy and literacy?
I'm not a person to talk on this, because I'm not Ministry of Communications, Information and Broadcasting. They are the people, if they are putting up towers and all that, and then ensuring that deep interior internet connections are made available. Yes. And we only started thinking about this digital divide only now, because thanks to COVID. Suddenly we realized, okay, the interior villages do not have Wi-Fi. How are they learning? So COVID not only has done harm, it has also done a lot of good to us, where our eyes have opened to many things. So now the government has decided, okay, we have to ensure that internet connections are provided in interior villages. There are many places where there are no internet connections, but gradually that I think will be overcoming. by putting up more these internet towers so that Wi-Fi can be provided to everybody.
Yeah,
That will
because
happen.
yes, ma'am, because in this COVID time, many of the students have been started learning independently from the YouTube, sourcing from the Google.
Yes.
Yeah, so that has been habituated to the students as well, knowing the things from there. And because full day, like 6 to 8 hours of the schools has been decreased to 2 to 3 hours of teaching. So by this, students and parents has to make a concentration on extra learning through Google, through YouTube, whatever it is, through social media, social platforms. So like
You
everybody,
have to
yeah,
be, but yeah, but then learning doesn't happen without a teacher.
yes,
We will say independent learning, but in schools, independent learning doesn't happen. Student cannot learn. You may be having one odd student who wants to do a little research on their own. They might open and see on their own, but majority of the 99.9% will not do it on their own. They require a teacher. So just playing a video is not going to help at all. There will be innumerable questions a student will be having because they are in the questioning age. They want to know why is this happening? How is it happening? So if there's nobody to answer those questions, and it's like the person who is presenting the video has the answers, has the questions. So
yes,
the interface between the pupil and the teacher is lost. There's no connection at all.
yeah.
So that's the biggest digital divide, I should say.
Hmm.
So the screen is there, and it's not one-on-one, like the way you are talking and I'm answering, that doesn't happen.
Yes.
So we have your synchronous, asynchronous learning. In synchronous learning, what we are doing is a synchronous one. You are at one place, I'm at one place where we are interacting. But when
Yes.
these children over there are given just videos and they download the videos, how many of them will be interested? Because it's not of their aptitude at all. They would be more happy watching a dance number or a song or something than anything to do with it.
Yeah, they're not quite interested in learning some videos about the academics. When coming to the academics part, that doesn't
It's
see,
not,
yeah,
no, it's not that fun unless I have the attitude. And
yeah,
I'm made to do something. I need to feel. So when they are made to feel and do, that is when they will be able to do it.
yes, ma'am. And besides having the syllabus and curriculum and pedagogy in place, how do you think foundational literacy and numeracy is not addressed to in too many countries?
Who said it's addressed in all countries? We're talking about 2 states, then in India it may not be addressed, but in all countries it is being addressed. I don't know which countries you mean, but then the countries which I know of, they are addressing this. Because for them, the preschool is very important. If you look at the preschool curriculum of other countries, it is far advanced than what is there in our country. But then thanks to National Education Policy and the NEP coming out with its draft on preschool curriculum, I think we are narrowing the gap. And the activities and all what are given in that manual are very good. If they are being followed, the only problem is the teacher training in our country. The teachers are not trained properly to deal with students. So there is somebody who's writing it and find that things are happening, and I'm sure in another 3 or 4 years, the changes might come about.
Yes. By this NEP,
Yes, the teacher
yes.
training institutes have to be developed.
Yeah, by this NEP also we are going to bridge a gap between this as well. So within a couple of years ago, we don't need to face this problem as well, I hope, with this.
I know.
Yeah, exactly, ma'am. And today we are pleasure to have you here. Actually, we have received many suggestions from your end and out of your experiences throughout the country, throughout the not even the country as well, throughout the various states and all. We have drawn vast knowledge from your end as well and suggestions also. Definitely, I hope like your suggestions are very helpful to all the teachers who are looking forward, because today in this current generation everybody is looking for some of the other suggestions, but nowhere they are not aware of where to find and all. So by this platform, I hope from your
I had not joined in this school, I would have opened like TeachConnect. I would have opened something because that was there. That was one of my dreams, to have a training center where I could. I wanted to conduct a crash course and make teachers ready, and they're entering a school and the transition from a newcomer to what the school expects. So equipping them completely, how to write a lesson plan, how to do a teaching, what are the records to be maintained by a teacher. These were all the things which I was working on. So I'm very happy to connect with you all, and I feel I'm impressed that there's something like this where Dr. Padmavati is guiding young teachers to become true professionals.
Yes, ma'am, because we also require many of the experts like you to have the suggestions through, like you have drawn vast knowledge through worldwide, right? So many teachers are looking for the suggestions in this current world, because we have most of the day by day we are getting a lot many of teachers. Because example, I am a BTech graduate, or it doesn't mean that only a teacher should be from B.Ed or something background. She may be a professional from BTech or whatever the platform, but finally they're something passionate towards teaching. Actually, at the end of the day, the final ending is for a teacher. Like maybe she might be a tutor for her students.
That's right, Sindhuja. Make the right choice at the right time and get a professional degree just by being a BTech. The qualification is not needed. That's the difference between an ordinary cook and a chef.
Yes.
So you have a qualified chef, and always a chef is paid far more because they know the nuance of cooking.
Yes.
So everybody cannot be a good cook.
Yes.
So I draw example cooking itself. And why do you think the food in a dhaba is cheaper than in a 5-star hotel?
Yeah. So we have trained chefs over there. Yeah.
No, the chef is that the way the food is being served, how appetizing they make for you. You think the dhaba wala can do that? So a teacher who does not have a professional degree cannot do teaching. I strongly don't recommend.
Yeah.
They should at least a 6 months crash course to become a professional who can teach in a school.
Yeah. But
everybody comes. I can speak and talk English. I can become an English teacher. But that's not, it's not that way.
Yes.
I have people coming, mothers coming. I am so BA, I can teach. I have been teaching. I said, to whom were you teaching? Tuitions. I said, please continue with the same. I cannot make you a teacher in my school. If I have to make you, I have to take a demo, and I should see whether you're able to reach out to the students.
Yes.
Making a connect with the student is what is required. You said connect. So the teacher has to connect to the students. Am I connecting to the curriculum? Do I know what a curriculum means? Does a teacher know what a curriculum means? Why is the teacher there in the classroom? So if all these are known, all these are taught in that B.Ed or D.Ed or any teacher training course, what they are doing. So the finishing is being given over there.
Yes. So finally at the end of the game, everybody has to have at least base, even as a parent as well. So at least we should have these basic suggestions and tips to get that child into the academics. Like at least basic tips to train their children and all. At least a minimum tips it has to have as a parent, because it's quite informative as well. What you have suggested today.
Yeah, young parents, class 1 and 2, I used to have one open day for the parents. I said, please come and sit in the classrooms. Open day for the parents, it's not a PTM. Please sit in the classroom and see how the teacher is teaching so that you can teach in the same way. Simulate the teaching in with your child. So that is very important. My child goes to the tuition. I said, please send your tuition teacher, let the tuition teacher sit in the class and see how the math teacher is teaching and how the science teacher is teaching. So that there are no two different ways of teaching that student. The student learns something in the classroom and learns something different when the teacher is teaching. tuition teacher is teaching. So to narrow that and then to break this, I should say, misbelief what the parents have. I'm sending my child to the tuition, so the child should do well. So the child is learning from two teachers, but in two different ways. So who is more confused?
Child is confused. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, the experience, actually, we are quite surprised as well to have so many instructions from your end and suggestions from there. Actually, more than the information, what we want to discuss over here, more number of information has been drawn today over here from the TeachConnect from your end as well. So I think this would definitely help the teachers, students, and parents who are looking for the advices and suggestions today. So that was a great experience even for us as well today, because I'm a parent of one kid. So even I have learned many things over here today. So really, it was a happy time as well for us connecting with you, ma'am.
Yeah, and it has been great for me also, where everything which is within me was coming out.
Yes, because
that is very deep, I can't think or talk about anything else other than this. So this was a topic very close to my heart, and a topic by which I live. So I live, breathe, talk, sleep,
yeah, because you are very connected to the child as well. So when we try to speak something as well, you'll be opening up with all your knowledge and all. That was actually like when a teacher or a principal, because they have vast knowledge, wherever the same question or with any department, when I try to ask something, just pin to pin. When I ask a question, they'll just answer to that. But when we communicate with a teacher or a principal, if we ask one question, they'll be answering with n number of multiple examples over there. Because that is the thing usually what they do in the school, with the crystal clear examples, and everybody will understand the language and what all they want to communicate over there. Because that is actually God's gift, what we even want to tell you about this as well today. Because being a teacher is not a small thing over here. You have to connect with many mindsets, many of the children. You have to cope up with multiple parents. That was actually a wonderful job, ma'am. Very wonderful. Because as a parent also, sometimes I think like that. Oh, today my child didn't learn something. I have to go and ask teacher right now. What is the teacher talking about? My child even did not learn anything. But in the teacher's aspect, they are dealing with hundreds and thousands of children. So even I can't deal with my single kid. Where am I talking about? So if many parents think in that way, a teacher is she's in some different place actually, when she's handling so many children and all.
Yeah, it is true. You pluck mangoes from a tree, all of them have formed mangoes at the same time, and then you put them to ripen. Do all ripe at the same time?
No.
So as they are ripening, you start eating them. This is the law of nature. So
yes.
Give time to the child.
Yes.
So every child can blossom, only need to give the time.
Yes, ma'am. So this has to be understood by many of the parents as well. Instead of insisting the children, learn. Why aren't you not getting? Why your friend learning? The same concept has been taught by the same teacher. What is the thing going on? Where is the drawback? Instead of thinking in that way, if they think in this way, that will be quite helpful for the child as well. So that was a great suggestion as well, ma'am. We have from TeachConnect. Really appreciate from our end as well.
Thank you. It was great connecting with you all.
Yes, ma'am. And once again, we look forward to connect with you with many more suggestions, expert suggestions as well, with today's complaints and the problems. What all the teachers, students, and what all they're facing today. So definitely we'll connect with each other some of the other time. Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Here is the expert suggestions of Mrs. Jaishree Rao. Once again, we'll be coming back with few more experts to have multiple suggestions from today's modern world of education. So let's connect with each other through TeachConnect. If you like the video, please share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.